brightly in the sky. We'll never let it down.
We shall never let a party fall, for we love it the best of all. We don't have to fight to show our might, 'cause when we start we will fight, fight, fight. With peace and love you'll hear us sing. God save our party, God save it, please. At the ending of the day, victory for all. We'll never let a party fall.
The star shines brightly in the sky. We'll never let it down.
We shall never let a party fall, for we love it the best of all. We don't have to fight to show our might, 'cause when we start we will fight, fight, fight. With peace and love you'll hear us sing. God save our party, God save it, please. At the ending of the day, victory for all. We'll never let a party.
This is not politics. Please don't forget. I'm just practicing to be a poet. Not qualified as yet, but have no fear. I'm gonna get there. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectation. Neither are you in to live up to mine. I don't owe no one, no obligation. No one knows me none, so everything is fine, fine. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. Serious business. There is a time for everything, and for everything there is a season. So man and man must reason. So I think it's prime time that we address some no issues. Simple information I will use. No rocket science to get you confused. So relax your mind, make sure everything is fine, while I take you down the poetic line. Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you're not refrain. You're not refrain. I remember you say Liberation Day, and I ask, you sure is that you wanna say? 'Cause it sounded so good to believe. And deception is a powerful thing when you lose your rightful thinking. So we voted for the bling. But you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you're not refrain. You're not refrain. Yellow, yellow all the way is what everybody say. Cell phone ring, man answering. Yellow, yellow, no hello. Teeth get yellow, house get yellow, bus get yellow, man get yellow, even green get yellow, and so says 11-4. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you're not refrain. You're not refrain. Old school parables say you know what you have, but you don't know what you go get. So cherish what you have to diminish regret. But what on earth lasts forever? Not even things created by the great Jehovah. So the green grass ceased to grow to allow the yellow vibes to flow. But boy, one song I sing, one bell I ring. If we didn't know, we never know yellow would have treat us so. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you're not refrain. You're not refrain. They began with the blame game, giving NNP more fame. Past administration, the cause of frustration. Past administration, chief of corruption. Then to economic recession, we can't give you Economic recession, the cause of poverty in the land. Economic recession, taxation, economic recession, no employment for the ordinary man. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. All your projects are stuck in a pipeline, but when asked, how is the country going? Oh, fine, fine, fine. We are looking into it. We are looking into it. Never mind, never mind. Only projects in pipeline. No water to cool down the yellow temperature. When will they start? Please answer that. Oh, soon, soon.
And a good night to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. Those of you listening locally, regionally, internationally, the submarines under the water and the planes up in the air. Wherever you are listening to Talking Points tonight, we say a special good night to each and every one of you. My name's Sheldon Scott. I'll be with you up until the 10 o'clock hour. It's now 7 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. Just letting the numbers build up before we get into the full discussion tonight.
Busy governing, busy managing.
Saying a special good night to all the listeners listening via 91.9, 91.5 Real FM.
1,000 Frenchmen can never be wrong.
I think Carriacou is with us tonight. Those of you listening via 92.9, a special good night.
They're sucking money like what?
Of course, our good friends out there in Brooklyn, 94.9 We Noise Radio. We also say a special good night to you all.
When you send SSU to between trick us with campaign promises, we won't say a tease.
As I've said, my name, Sheldon Scott, and we're going up until 10.
Is this strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain.
Yeah, thank you, Alan. Yeah, I'm seeing you there.
But some can't digest that one. Remember the man say he's an asset to the party? And will we vote you without him? You left him with Glenn.
So good night to you, Ruth, Alan, Stephen, Gemma, Louisa, Janice, Antonito, and your wife, Dale, Jocelyn, Good Life, Alcy, Eliza, Kathleen, Chief Camahon, good night to you, Miriam, Siobhan, Anastasia, Henry, Gertrude Abraham, good night to you, and Barbara, good night. I'm seeing Agnes, Gloria, Gavin, what's up, bro? Bevis, Christine, and Leroy, Faithlin, Michelle, Wilfred, Kathleen, let me see, Jackie, good night to you, Jillian, good night, Matthew, bro, what's up, man? Matthew, hit me a message. Nice. Let me see, Shrajan, good night to you, Deborah, and Lishra. All right. And over on the YouTube, well, that's on the YouTube. Over on Facebook, let me say good night to you, Dwight, Wallen, Sherma, Denise Courtney, Jillian, Lackey, Shawnell, Olive, McLean, good night to you, Yvonne, Patrick, Antonito, you over there too? Oh, yeah, Antonito does be on it too. Gil, good night to you, Trisha, Winnie, Shemi, as usual, I know you're in, girl, Rhonda, Maria, Cindy, let me see, Maudlin, you're there, Sherms, you're there, Lynn, Andre, ShopRite, yeah, what's up, cuz? Yeah, Agatha, Dominic, Lisa, Denise, Red Girl, Cicely, Tyrone, Marishan, good night. Mavis, and let me see, Linda, Imelda, Francois. Good night to all of you. I'm seeing you there on the live tonight. So yeah, let's just take the thing from the top. You understand how it does go?
This is not politics.
As I said, just letting the numbers reach to that magic number.
Not qualified as yet, but have no fear. I'm gonna get there. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectation. Neither are you in to live up to mine.
Good night to you, Oswald.
I don't owe no one.
And let me say a very special happy birthday to a good friend of mine, and of course a keen listener to Talking Points every night. Let me say a special good night to you, Zingo. Yeah, man. Happy birthday, bro. Yeah.
I am that I am. I am.
I know he's somewhere out there enjoying it, you know. Anne Marie Celestine, good night to you.
I am.
Golden, I know you're listening. Good night to you.
I am.
Giovanni, good night. Steve, and let me see who else is there. Amanda, good night.
There is a time for everything, and for everything there is a season. So man and man must reason.
So, of course, remember, to share the live. You have to like and share when you're on Facebook. Like and share. You have to share it. Nice. I want to see the share numbers going up there. Like and share the live. Right? And even if you want to share the YouTube via, you could click on the share button with the YouTube and you could share that as well. So share the live. Nice. Because it's here that people get information in relation to what's going on. Folks call and they give us information. We research and we find information and so on. So it's here that you find out what's being done. Like what was done in the parliament today. We're going to be talking about that in a little while. Lolo. Good night, my dear. And Nicole.
Yellow all the way is what everybody say. Cell phone ring, man answering. Yellow, no hello. Teeth get yellow, house get yellow, bus get.
I find it very, very interesting that since the start of the NDC administration, I have never heard ministerial reports in Parliament. And some of you may be wondering what I'm speaking about. If you follow parliamentary sittings, if you've been following for a while, you would know. And usually that's what you see in the news and so on. There usually are ministerial statements. It's on the order paper. So different ministers, they have, I can't remember the exact amount of time right now, if it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is. But you have a set amount of time that you can give information in relation to the ministry that you're in charge of. And if there is a minister who is the full minister in charge of a ministry, but that minister is not in the place that you are. For instance, if you're in the ministerial report is coming at the lower house or the House of Representatives, and the minister in charge of what you're going to speak about is at the other place, then one member usually takes responsibility and says, well, I will do the reports at the House of Representatives in relation to that ministry. And the same happens at the upper house, at the Senate, right? But I've realized that since the start of the NDC administration, there have been no ministerial reports. So none of the ministers are coming forward and saying, well, we're giving a report in relation to what has taken place in my ministry. And to me, that is a bit worrying, because it tells me that the possibility is that nothing happened in the ministry. Or the minister doesn't know what's going on in the ministry. Or the minister basically don't care to let you know what's going on in the ministry, because the time and the opportunity is afforded to them. And it falls in line with other things that we see taking place. For instance, we realize that there are no post-cabinet press briefings taking place. Once again, they've started back on that. And when they do have post-cabinet press briefings, they want to tell you the issue or issues that they're speaking on. They accept a specific number of questions from journalists and then they close off the entire thing. Yeah? So they don't want to get into other areas that people may have questions in relation to. So I find it very, very interesting that between last year and now, at none of these parliamentary sittings, they found it necessary for ministers, the same ministers who got that $24,000 a year increase within 6 weeks of becoming ministers. Those same ministers seem not to think that it's important to report to you, the Grenadian people. They seem to think it's pretty okay to just go to Parliament and have nothing to say to you. Yeah, they come to Parliament and they don't say, well, the following are programs that are going on under my ministry. A, B, C, D. And we would like the Grenadian people to become involved. They don't do it. They don't come out and say, well, okay, we are going to start a new initiative, because, again, it doesn't seem as though they can do that because there have been no new initiatives by the NDC administration. And we are in April now, and I still have to be going back to the budget presentation of Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. Because everything that Dr. Mitchell said in that budget presentation, bit by bit, you're seeing it coming up, folks. You all need to go back and take a look at the budget presentation, the rebuttal that was made by Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell to the 2023 budget. Because every single week, you're seeing a different thing that he spoke about and he said, that will happen or that has to be done. You're seeing all of that coming to play one by one by one. Yeah? So now, I mean, he got into so many different aspects of what is taking place in Grenada right now regarding financing. And when I say that they've had no new programs, they've had no new programs except for WASH, the Who Are Sending Home program. That's the only program that they've had. And let me just inform early that we're having a problem when it comes to the WhatsApp tonight, or WhatsApp system. It's usually based in the studio, but it seems as though I may have to go with it a little later and fix it. The WhatsApp itself, not the computer is okay and so, but the actual WhatsApp itself is down. So we won't be able to take the WhatsApp calls tonight. We'll have to take all the calls directly. All right? So we can't take the WhatsApp messages or the calls tonight because we are having problems with the WhatsApp tonight. But just to say again, I find it very instructful that we are not having ministerial reports. Yeah? We're not getting ministerial reports. I want to know what's going on in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, if there's a new initiative inside there, or if they're continuing. As Dr. Mitchell stated in the budget presentation that he made, the rebuttal that he made, that they're simply changing the name of all the programs that the NNP had there. They're simply changing the names of the programs and coming with them as though it's something new. Yeah? So I want to know if there's something that maybe farmers need to know or various people need to know that is taking place in that ministry. And I would expect it to come out in ministerial statements, which can then populate to various social media platforms and the news. Yeah, I'm giving advice to them how to get the information out. Because if something is happening in a ministry that people can benefit from, I will give advice of how to get the information out to people so they can benefit. Because again, it's your money, it's my money. And what has happened in relation to the small business, where they're calling party supporters into locations and making sure that their small business is funded when you have other people waiting since 2022. Yes, I know we're in 2023. Since 2022, you have people waiting for just a call back to say that, yes, we acknowledge that you have applied to the program. Some people are even getting that, much less funding. Yet still, people could apply and get funding within the last 6 weeks. People can apply and receive funding. Yeah? And other people can't hear anything. And I challenge them to tell me that that is not so. I challenge them to tell me that checks are not being forwarded to various service providers under the Small Business Development Program. And that only NDC members were called into certain meetings to discuss that. But again, as I've said, in the presentation that was made by Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, he did say that they're simply changing the names of programs and so on. So we're seeing these things happening. I don't know if they thought that we would not find out what they're doing with that program and the money being spent under that program to help set up small businesses. Yeah? And as one person is putting out here, Antonito, yes, it seems as though they suddenly know that there was a pandemic and COVID-19. I heard the honorable member for South St. George. Yeah, I heard him today speaking about we need to understand that for the last time businesses have not been able to succeed because remember, they came out of one of the lowest periods. They came out of COVID-19. So businesses were not operating properly at that time. So I heard the member, I heard him today speaking about, I thought they didn't know about that because that is the same person that speak about project implementation. And he refuses to acknowledge when he's speaking about project implementation that you had a period in time where people couldn't even, listen, nobody, all of us seem to be, I mean, we should remember that there was a period in time when everybody was afraid to go out. When you would not go on a bus without a mask. When you couldn't enter a building without a mask. When construction was paused. When we had to go shopping by the alphabet. Yeah? When certain days we inside for 2 days, 3 days, sometime at a time we can't leave the house. We know and we understand that that period took place. But it seems as though the parliamentarians on the NDC side are just becoming aware that we had COVID-19 affecting not just Grenada, but the entire planet. Every single country on earth was affected. Every country on planet earth was affected by COVID-19. Yeah? Probably the only one that was worse than this was the Spanish influenza back in the early 1900s. But outside of that, this is the worst that we've ever had. Outside of the Spanish flu. But it seems as though they're now knowing that. So they now know that people need a tax break because it had COVID and the businesses didn't do so good. And therefore, if they owe in government and so on. I told you all. And we heard it from Mr. Philip Telesford today. He did say that we were correct in our assessment last night when we said that the reason they had to bring this legislation to Parliament was because they were actually acting illegally and still are between January and now and continuing. And they will continue to be acting illegally until such a point in time that that bill is passed through the Senate, signed and gazetted. Then it becomes law. Yeah, that amendment to the tax bill. So the tax administration amendment bill. It has to pass through the Senate now and has to be approved there. Then it's sent to the Governor General for signature and so on. And we were right again when it came to the data protection bill. Had the New National Party not spoken about this bill, it would have been passed in the original form, you know. It's just how it was that we were pointing out concerns in relation to it, and we were saying here to you, and you heard Dr. Mitchell and the New National Party team in Parliament pointing out the constitutional breaches that were taking place in relation to that act, and the concerns that afterwards you started hearing that the Media Association meet with the Prime Minister and then they meet with the Attorney General, and you heard that the Bar Association, they met with the Attorney General and they were giving different information in relation to it, even on a forum that the New National Party had in place. Yeah? So had the New National Party not identified the areas that they had to amend, because the bill could have been passed and signed and everything already. And again, because some of them were giving the impression, stand up and giving the kind of haughty attitude. You ain't doing nothing in government to be haughty. Nothing. You ain't doing nothing to be arrogant. You have achieved nothing except winning the seat. And some of you barely so. Nothing. To be arrogant towards people and stand up in Parliament like, yeah, you Mr. MP and Madam MP. So you stand up in Parliament and you're arrogant. Yeah? So when people are giving you honest advice, and you end up having to take the same advice that we were giving in relation to the same sections that we were giving, and you had to amend them, change it, and then try to make it look now like the Bar Association make you do it, when the Bar Association was basically repeating everything we said right here on Talking Points, everything that was said in Parliament by Dr. Mitchell, by Honorable Emlyn Pear, by Honorable Kate Skeeter-Lewis, by Honorable Peter David, yeah, by Honorable Clarice Modest-Curwen. Everything that was said, right, over in the Senate, when you heard from Senators Cox and Franklin, everything that we identified and pointed to were the same things they ended up having to change and amend. And they wouldn't even say thanks. So it went to the Senate, and it got to the Senate after we still said, okay, I'll bring it to the first thing. Hold off on the bill, reintroduce it, make the changes and reintroduce it. So now it had to be brought back to Parliament today. And I like what Dr. Mitchell took the time to explain to them that, look, we didn't have to have this happening. If you all had listened initially When we spoke to you all about the bill, it did not have to come back now from the Senate as a motion back to the House of Representatives to be okayed. It could have done be law put in place, everything already. But rush. They want to rush. Everything is a rush, rush, rush. The one thing Grenadians want them rush and do is rush and go. But they're rushing with everything else. They're rushing on bonks. They're rushing on all kind of thing. Rush. Rush with this, rush with that. That's all that they're doing. And you're simply saying, hey, sometimes you need to take stock of what you want to do and do it in a proper manner. So the tax amendment bill that came to Parliament today ought to have come since December. Well, late November, when the budget speech was read, is when that bill should have been on the order paper at the budget sitting, so it could have been okayed, so that it would have given legality to what has been done in relation to the penalties and interest that people are owing on taxes, what has been done in relation to that between January and now. Yeah? So what has been done between January and now is illegal, because the act was not amended to give teeth to that, to give legality to that. All right? So now we look forward to, I'm not sure, I don't have a date for when the Senate sitting is coming. So we hope that the Senate sitting is coming soon, so that that can be put in place. Because, and again, none of us have said that you don't have to do the tax amendment. No. And from the figures they're calling, some of them saying 600 million, some of them saying $700 million in taxes, penalties, and interest being owed by Grenadians. Yeah? So they're saying that, look, maybe if they give people the opportunity, you owe land tax and you owe penalties for not paying, and you owe interest on what you owe, and government is saying, okay, we'll let you pay off the principal amount, we'll let you pay off what you ought to have been paying, we'll let you pay that, we will not take the penalties and we'll not take the interest, that by doing that, they may get many more people to pay up before the end of this year. If it works, kudos to the government. Yeah? Nothing is wrong with it. Kudos if it works. All well and good. Right? But don't try to give the impression that people are against you and against it, and people talk. You're trying to give you advice. All of us have to live in Grenada. If it have hole in the road, is all of us going through it. Yeah? If it have church and thing falling down, is all of us have to pass there. All of us life in danger. Yeah? Is one Grenada. So if you're giving advice, genuine advice in relation to things, as the New National Party has been doing, why they rush to just do things without listening? So they rush. They imagine that. They write a whole speech and they say that they're going to be giving up the interest and the penalties in relation to taxes. Right? They said that. But nobody, Toz spent time as a permanent secretary, I think, in the Ministry of Finance, and so he spent time in the Ministry of Finance. Mr. Dennis Cornwall also spent time in the Ministry of Finance. So none of them could have tell them that they need the legislation to give teeth to it. None of them could have tell them that. So they went ahead and they did it, so illegally for the last 4 months. So we hope that probably by the end of this month, they can legalize it. Yeah? No, anybody that just joined, we're talking about the tax amendment, not legalizing other things. Yeah, legalize it. Right? So that's the first one. All right. And folks, you can call in 440-7377. The WhatsApp is down tonight. I'm still, while I'm talking with you all, I'm trying to see if I can get it to work. But it's down for tonight, it seems.
I'm just practicing.
Don't worry, we have not been hacked. It's just that you have to update every now and again. So, and the system, how it is, it's going to take some time. Yeah.
I'm not in this world to live up to your expectation. Neither are you in to live up to my...
So remember, 440-7377. And for those of you outside of Grenada, 347-329-3101. So I'll encourage all of you. You see, That's the difference between the New National Party and the other organization. Their activists, their spokespersons, would try to put a negative spin on everything and tell you don't participate. We don't operate that way. So I would say to you all, make use of the amnesty that's being given. Make use of it. You know that you have to pay a certain amount, and you can pay that. Try to pay it off before the end of the year, even if it's every month, or as they say, bi-monthly. Yeah, that you can go and make a payment towards paying off what you have to pay. Because you hear what Mr. Dennis Cornwall was saying. Yeah, if they had to come and seize your house, you owe taxes and thing, and they had to come and seize your house and your property and thing. That is what they intend to do next year. So, Papa, if you could pay off. I'm telling all you. All right.
Too confused. So relax your mind.
I also heard a statement being made by one of them that if the banks would give loans to people to go and make the payments and so. And my concern with that is that you are getting the penalties and interest off. And then you're going to borrow money from a bank to go and pay off, right, the principal amount, and incur interest on the money that you've just borrowed from the bank. So you're basically putting yourself right back into the same position again. I mean, yeah, you'll get away from the interest on the government side, but you're still ain't getting away from the interest on the bank side. You're still getting the interest, hit with the interest over there.
Yellow, yellow all the way is what everybody say. Cell phone ring, man answering. Yellow, yellow, no hello. Teeth get yellow, house gets yellow, bus.
So I found that one to be kind of interesting when they were talking about go and take a loan. Some of the banks and them, they're calling on some of the lending institution, banks and credit unions to give loans to people so that they can partake in this. Well, I'm considering the time frame. Folks have roughly, I think it's about 8 months remaining. Yeah, 8 months remaining where they can do this, where they can go in and they can get the pay off what they have to pay off, the principal amount and so, and be relieved of the penalties and interest. So you know you owe on your property for the last few years, try and get the money and go and pay. All right? You know you owe for whatever other category of taxation. You have a business, you have not been paying what you need to pay at the point in time, your stamp tax, whatever it is, you have not been paying on time. You have a situation where you're owing, then you have penalties, then you have interest. This is a good opportunity to not have to pay the penalties, not have to pay the interest. Try and pay off what you can pay off. And believe me, they need it. If they had to pay on a bi-monthly basis, they need the money. Yeah.
Then to economic recession.
Why do you think they're doing that too? They're doing that because they know if they don't do that, they're going to end up broke. Listen, the moves that you see taking place this week, these moves are to support the bi-monthly payments. You all realize that, right? Yeah, because if they have close to 600 million out there, or 700, well, over 600 and close to $700 million out there in back in taxes and interest and so on, which by the time they give out the penalties and the interest and so is going to be significantly less. They need that money because they have to pay salaries every 2 weeks. Remember, they pay weekend gone, they have to pay next week, not this weekend, but the following weekend, they have to pay again, Yeah, so this is a means of them trying to see how much money they can get in the short term to be able to continue paying the bi-monthly payment without missing a payment. Because you and I know they go run broke. Yeah, and then it's going to be a situation they have to find the money somewhere. Yeah.
That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you're not refrain. You're not refrain. Busy governing, busy managing.
Then you also know that there's a situation with the Public Finance Management, the PFM, the Public Finance Management Act of 2015 that they have now made the amendment to. And as I told you last night, is the NIS money they're going after, but only to realize this afternoon. And in conversation with a good friend of mine, they pointed to a third one. Yeah, it's not just because my initial reading was that they were only allowing the NIS to invest any additional monies that they have in buying government securities locally, regionally, and internationally. In other words, if next week, let's say by Monday, they realize that they can't pay, the government realizes that they can't pay by the weekend, they can float some securities and force the NIS to take it. But let's go to the phone line. We'll come back to that. Hello, good evening.
Hey, Sheldon, how you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm quite fine. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Good
All
program
right.
as usual.
Wonderful. Thank
Calling
you.
them out.
Yes, sir.
Stop. Here's my question. If they so desperately need money to pay salaries and so forth, where would they find money to finance those projects for the transformation?
Well, it's that's an interesting question. I think we could find ourselves seriously indebted. I think that's one of the problems that we can find. Because I'll tell you this, and again, when Dr. Mitchell is speaking, I think all of us need to pay particular attention when he's speaking. He was pointing out something today, and it's something that we will see happening in the next couple months, into the next couple years. Now, your GDP, your gross domestic product, your GDP, right? When you're speaking of not your gross domestic product, I'm speaking about your debt to GDP ratio, right? Before, and Dr. Mitchell was making that point before, they used to measure that without taking into consideration the indebtedness of statutory bodies. That was ceased a number of years ago. They stopped doing that, and they started taking into consideration, when talking about government debt, they started taking into consideration the debt of government entities. For instance, the Postal Corporation, or if the Port Authority had a debt, or the Airport Authority, or whatever. So, and that increased the debt ratio for Grenada significantly. Now, what is taking place with the Public Finance Management Act? If it goes unchecked, and if it is what I think it is, where they're going to be using the following as piggy banks to be able to pay on a monthly basis: the NIS, National Lottery Authority, the CBI program, the Port Authority. These are the areas where there are significant amount of finances that they may say there is a bit overflow that they can use. And when government can't pay workers, that's where they're going and take money.
Right. But it seems like they're desperate because you're talking about transformation, which will cost millions of dollars. I mean, changing the infrastructure, doing other businesses. And now you're trying to get money from those entities so you can pay salaries. So my question is, going forward, how are you going to finance all those projects? Because the Minister of Finance is now the Minister of Works, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have to build roads, you may have to build schools. Where are you going to find the money from?
Well, it's an interesting question, my friend. A very, very interesting question. I hope they could answer it.
Because transformation is not just putting 2 trees along the roadside or just patching the road. You're talking about doing a full restructuring of the road.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about building the road, building good, so it could be solid foundation. We're not talking about just getting some guys to throw some cement on the side. We're talking about having a good, smooth road.
My friend, they are involved in cosmetology and tokenism. Cosmetology
That's not
and tokenism. It's not transformation. It's cosmetology and tokenism. For instance, I was passing on the Karani James Boulevard earlier, and I realized they're chaining off part of the boulevard. The very same thing that the MP for South St. George, Mr. Andy Williams, say is not going to take place is what's taking place. And anybody that's passing there could realize that a section of the Karani James Boulevard that they put those pillars on, now they pull in chain through it. So if you pull a chain through it, you're not just stopping vehicles, you're stopping people too.
Yeah, and transformation, if you don't do it, look, when I went to Grenada, I saw the bus terminal. They moved from the market square, and then you say, wow, this is a bus terminal where buses are lined up to pick up the passengers. You go to the port where the tourist comes in on the mall there. You see that's a big change.
Yeah.
You drive along Queen's Park. You see that from the old Queen's Park to a stadium. That is what you call a change.
Because, my friend, we remember the days when cruise ships come to Grenada, they had to stay out in the water. They had to stay out in the water, and one or two, according to the size of the second one, might be able to stay over. Well, in fact, one most time over on the port would come across there, and you would have to basically have launches coming to over by the port there, and the people come out. So the launches go out, they pick up the people out on the water, and they bring them in. Right. And we move from that now to having our own cruise port.
That is a transformation.
Yeah.
That's a transformation. The market square where the buses used to be parking among the vendors, now the bus terminal is totally away from the bus vendors, and there is rules. You have to line up to get your passengers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a transformation.
Yeah.
So patching the road and putting some trees, that ain't really transformation. Transformation has to be a wow moment where you said, wow, that is brand new. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I'm still, I hope that they will find money to finance some of the project that they're talking about. But by the way, they have not talked about any project in terms of initiating new projects.
And that's the thing. The only new initiative that they've spoken about, and it's still not a new initiative, was the WASH program. And as we explained on this program, the WASH program pre-existed the NDC. It even pre-existed Deacon Mitchell in politics. Even though they're saying it was his brainchild, there are several initiatives known as WASH worldwide, from the Red Crescent, Red Cross, to United Nations, to UNESCO. We've been able to show that. And that even here in Grenada, the Rotary Club had one operating since 2016, 2017, somewhere there. So it's not a new initiative. And plus, what they're doing under the WASH program was already there under the bathroom and toilet program of the New National Party. So they can't claim you change the name, that doesn't mean it's new.
Well, I had a discussion with a friend of mine today. He's a strong supporter of the government, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We're good friends. And he told me about the Monkuma project. But I told him there is no way that the present government could have built Monkuma project in 9-10 months. There is no way you could have done that.
No, but they are very aware that the project was conceptualized under the New National Party. The funding was secured under the New National Party. The contractors were secured under the New National Party. The actual work begun under the New National Party and was only completed under the NDC. In other words, it happened in spite of and not because of them. I keep forgetting the Latin phrase for that. When something happens in spite of and not because of. It happened in spite of them and not because of them. Yeah.
But I think he got it, because when I told him that there's no way you could have completed a project in 10 months, then he understood, okay, well, that makes sense.
All right, my friend. We'd like to thank you so very much for your call.
Call them out, okay?
Yes, sir. And feel free to call back. No problem.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks. And let me say a special good night to Miss Kiami. Miss Kiami, I pass and I do see you today, and I do find I hear your voice for the day. Usually I just get a little message and thing. I know I've been up and down today, but I did not see a message from you. So either you call or you message. All right? Call or message if you're not sleeping, that is. Call or message. All right? Because you know me already. I just kind of like to hear you every now and again. Nice? Good. 440-7377. And for those of you out there in Brooklyn who listening, or if you're in California, North Carolina, South Carolina, you're in Fort Lauderdale, in Florida, wherever you are, Washington, D.C., wherever you are, you can give us a call on 347-329-3101. Let me say a special good night to my good friend Ian out there in Canada. Patricia, a special good night to you out there in Canada as well. All my good friends out in Canada and in the U.S., I'm saying a special good night to each and every one of you. Hope that you all are having a fabulous night tonight. Nice. Yes, so I mentioned the Public Finance Management Act. On my initial reading, I thought that they were only authorizing the NIS to be able to take the funds, invest their funds regionally and internationally, which is risky business, according to what they're doing. And remember, when it comes to the NIS in particular, they have already taken the workers' representative off of the investment committee. No, they haven't put the workers' representative on the investment committee. They haven't expanded the investment committee to say, well, we're making it more broad-based. We're going to have a representative that is there from the opposition to keep an eye on what is going on. So you have government people, you have somebody from the opposition. You have no, they didn't do anything like that. They actually ensured that after all the years of us having a representative of the workers there, that there's no longer a workers representative there. And now you're saying any surplus funds that the National Insurance Scheme has, that you could float your bonds and so on, and then government can float securities and bonds and different things here, and the NIS would have to buy it. So if government know they need $20 million next week, and they go and they float a bond, right? Then the NIS could be forced to go and take that. The NIS could be forced that you have to go and take that. Right? And there's basically nothing you can do because they've changed the Public Finance Management Act to allow that to happen. But not just the NIS. That's the part I hadn't read properly. The other part was that any statutory body whose financial standing over the last 3 quarters of the year previous have been in good measure. In other words, they haven't been losing money, but they may have been making money and even more money than they have been targeting. So they might have targeted that they're looking to make 5 million and they make 10 million instead, and so they have surpluses, right? And they have not been receiving subventions from government. In other words, government hasn't had to go in and pay the salaries of the people there, haven't had to go in and bail them out financially within the last couple of years. Those entities are now being allowed to do the same. So in my mind, what they have done is also set up that this month, if they don't have enough money to pay end of month salaries, that they can take that money from National Lottery Authority. They can actually do that. If they don't have enough money to pay salaries, they can take it from the Grenada Port Authority. Because they have set it up now that the Grenada Port Authority could take whatever surpluses they have and invest it in the United States or invest it in England or invest it somewhere else in the region, buy bonds from a different government in the region. But most likely, what you would see them doing is not spending that money outside of Grenada. They've opened the book. They've given them a blank check so that now they can take what money they need from NIS. They can take what money they need from Lotto. They can take what money they need from the Grenada Port Authority. They can even take what money they need from the CBI program. Yeah? And then remember, if they give them bonds, and then you have another situation like COVID or so where the economy takes a nosedive, or you have a natural disaster, God forbid, or something like that, that causes serious economic distress in Grenada, that you end up in distress because your economy isn't moving, your country isn't shipping, you're not making money. If that happens, then your money from the NIS that the government is going to take to pay salaries and has to pay back to the NIS, the same government is going to be asking NIS to take a haircut on your money. So you may very well find a situation that the NIS might be owed a 50 million or 100 million, and then Grenada ends up in economic distress and the NIS is being told, hey, you need to take a significant haircut here. You have to take a 40% or a 50% or 55% haircut or something. We already saw a situation where the marketing board creditors are being asked for a 50% haircut. And if that's the standard that they're going by, then we can find a situation where our statutory bodies are placed in a precarious situation where they think they have money in government securities and then the government ends up in distress and you lose. In fact, remember, this is the Caribbean region. You're telling the NIS, and so they could speculate and they can spend money, for instance, in Dominica or St. Lucia or so. What if they go and they buy securities from one of those countries and then there's a natural disaster there, their economy ends up in distress, and then we, the Grenadian workers, are the ones that are losing the money? Yeah? So that's what they have done. They have set up the mechanism for them to be able to raid the NIS, to raid the Port Authority, to raid National Lottery and to even raid the CBI program to get the monies to cover what they have to cover. They have not decided that the best way to do that was to generate economic activity in the country through new initiatives. I heard them speaking about, oh, there's so much construction taking. What construction NDC responsible for in Grenada? NDC? Responsible for which construction? What the hotels that building in St. David's, nothing to do with them. Nothing to do with them. Maybe one of them was the lawyer. Nothing to do with them. The hotel in Lavera, well, we know that the sitting prime minister was a lawyer involved in certain aspects of what is taking place in Lavera right now, isn't it? We know that Mitchell and Company was involved in it when it came to a particular lawsuit by individuals involved in the project up there. We know that the sitting prime minister's law firm was the law firm that represented individuals in that case. Yeah, you want a case number? We could find it for you. It wouldn't take us long, right? But we know that that is the situation. So, they're not responsible for what's taking place up there, the NDC administration. So the construction that you see taking place has nothing to do with the National Democratic Congress. That's all stuff from back in the new National Party period that you see actualizing now. You're seeing it coming to reality now. You're seeing different things taking place, different places now. There has been no successful program of the NDC except the WASH, Who Are Sending Home program. That's the only program that's been successful. WASH, Who Are Sending Home. That's it. No other program. Now, we had questions that were posed, and the majority of questions, as we showed you last night, we showed you what some of those questions were. The answers in relation to the seed program were given. I myself has not received a copy of it. Yeah, I need to get that. Good night to you, Julius. Hey, Cousin Koi, what's up? Sorry, I just had to shout out my cousin and them when they call. My cousin them love me bad. They only don't get up with that. Right. So, when it comes to the questions, the seed program, yeah, there was an increase in the amount of people under the seed program. That's one of the figures that were given. Again, I don't want to go quoting because I don't have the actual answers, the document in front of me. I will endeavor to get that between tonight and tomorrow so that we could speak a little bit on it tomorrow. I have some other things to tell you about tomorrow night. That's going to be very interesting, eh? Yes, yes, Maria. Who are sending home? WASH. That's what it stands for. Right. So, the seed program, there's been an increase in the amount of people under the seed program. Now, I remember when the new National Party expanded the seed program, the various sycophants and brown-nosers of the National Democratic Congress on media platforms were out there saying that it is reflective of the economic situation in the country when you're adding more people onto a social welfare program, which is what they call the seed program, a social welfare program. So, the NDC, when they were in the opposition outside of government, was saying when you see an increase in the number of people on seed, that it means that the economic situation is not improving. It's nothing to boast about because it means that more people are in need. Yet still, they have increased the number of people on the seed program between last year and this year. But remember, these are also the same people that saying they're trying to get the number of people on seed down. So that they say it had a set of dead people. Well, I don't know. If they say it had a set of dead people on seed, a set of people in prison, I don't know how large our prison population is, so that you could have one pile of people, and it's one prison we have on the island. There are no prison here and there, one prison, right? So I don't know how much people it could have in prison that was on seed, and how many people that died that you would have on seed. And I'll say this again, because this is just common sense. But you can't accuse everybody of that. I don't want nobody to take me to court, so I will not accuse the members of parliament in the NDC camp. I will not accuse them of having common sense because I don't want nobody make the lawyer write me. All right, so I will not accuse them of having common sense. But common sense will always dictate that whether it's the voters list whether it is the seed program or any program, you will always have people who have died on the program that have to be identified and removed. There are people who died today that were probably on the seed program that would not be removed probably until week after, or probably until the end of next month. You'd see their name coming off the program, because there is not an automatic electronic digital system that identifies that person who has died here is the same person who is here and therefore needs to be removed from here because they have now died. So there's usually the reporting process where the seed officers would identify, coming with their list and identify the people who have died and they're removed from the list. But if you look at the seed list now, you definitely will see people who have died there. If you go into your community now and you look at the voters registration list, you'd realize that there are many people on the list still who have died. Even some of the people who died during that time with COVID, when we had the set of deaths every day was a 3 and 4 and so on, until we ended up with a high number of deaths. Yeah, some of those people may even still be on the voters list because nobody has reported officially in the proper format to the Parliamentary Electoral Office that these people have died and therefore need to be removed from the list. It's the same thing when it comes to seed. But they were reporting that it have a set of dead people on the seed. They were reporting that it have a set of people in jail on the seed. But yet still the number didn't go down from during the NNP time. The number went up. So something in songing right. That Matson right? Something in songing right there. So the number of people on the seed went up, not down. So I don't know if you're removing people and you're cleaning the list as you say, and there were so many people that were on the list that should not have been there from the utterances that you heard from the minister with responsibility for that, that's Senator Gloria Thomas, and from the Prime Minister, and from other members of the NDC team, and then the sycophants and brown nosers that they have out there. You were continually hearing that it have a set of people on seed who shouldn't be on seed, but yet still, the number has not gone down. The number has gone up. And it's the same set of people that in opposition were saying that if the numbers under social welfare programs such as seed increases, it means that the state of the economy is worsening. So from their own mouths, they have, and we go find what they've been saying it and we're going to play it for you. You know, we just like to tell you things here. I don't have it here tonight, but I'm definitely going to find it and play it for you. Because these are the people that were saying when seed increases, the amount of people under seed increases, this is what happens. Right? So just to let you all know, they have answered that question. They've answered that question. I will get the exact answers and present that to you all by tomorrow night. All right? Just to let you all know that we're doing that. You know, I want to play a tune there. You know? Yeah, I want to play a tune there. Yeah.
The star shines brightly in the sky. We'll never let it down.
We shall never let a party fall, for we love it the best of all. We don't have to fight to show our might, 'cause when we start, we will fight. With peace and love, you'll hear us sing. God save a party, God save it means. At the ending of the day, victory for all. We'll never let a party fall.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I just have to go back to them things. Folks, 440-7377 if you want to get into tonight's program. And for those of you outside of Grenada, 347-329-3101. We apologize that our WhatsApp is down tonight. Yeah, it is down. I had to actually reinstall and all kind of thing. Yeah, the WhatsApping proper with us tonight. But I'll have it sorted out by tomorrow. Yeah, the problem only happened between last night and today. It took place. So I'll have it reinstalled and everything will be up and running, I guarantee you, by tomorrow with the WhatsApp. Yeah. All right, folks. So 440-7377. You will have to call us directly on that line. And 347-329-3101, which I believe I need to set up a WhatsApp for too. You know, yeah, I think I'll set up a WhatsApp for that one too, so that you'll be able to call in. All right. Nice, beautiful. So yeah, so now you all know what they went in Parliament and do today. The aim was to find the money to maintain the payments that they're going to have to be making every 2 weeks, isn't it? Nice.
People get ready, but the greenhouse is open. Everyone welcome, let's walk right in. I'm ready. In a critical state, don't wait until it's too late. Hopelessly we have roamed. Now this house is our home.
You know, I want to show you all something. Let me show you all something here. Yeah. Let me share something here with you. All right, yeah. Let me just share that and take a look and tell me what you find strange there. Just have a look at it.
But there comes a day when our finger got something to say. People get ready. I'm ready. But the greenhouse is open. Don't need no passage. Just walk right in. So tell me, are you ready now? People get ready. But the greenhouse is open. Everyone is welcome. Just walk right in. No more will you fool the people with propaganda, lies and ramble. No election come again, you still complaining and playing the blame game. No blind and empty promises won't work for you in this crucial day. Only the house can deliver that much. That's what we saw. People get ready. The greenhouse is open. You don't need no passage. Just walk right in. Are you ready now? People get ready. But the greenhouse is open. Everyone welcome. Just walk right in. People get ready. But the greenhouse is open. You don't need no passage. Just walk right in. People get ready. But the greenhouse is open. Everyone is welcome. Just walk right in.
Now, you all would realize that an announcement was made recently in relation to our diplomatic representatives, right? I didn't hear the name Aaron Moses called. But you would realize in the back row, second from the left, next to Mr. Glenn Noel is Mr. Aaron Moses. Are you all aware that Mr. Aaron Moses is our ambassador to CARICOM? Has any official statement been made by the government of Grenada stating such? We heard all of the other. We heard for China and we heard for, we heard for all those places, and then we hear for China. We hear the two at-large ones. We hear that's Orlando and Andrea, and then the three, and Dr. Lane and so on. We hear all of that. But the name Aaron Moses never came up. But now we're hearing that Mr. Aaron Moses is the ambassador to CARICOM. Now we're seeing that. But no official statement was made of that before as a separate item to say that we now announce our diplomatic representative to CARICOM, Mr. Aaron Moses. But now I see picture come out with him and thing, and I understand this one. I don't understand that one. Seriously. It seems like anything just goes here, man.
When the poor make charity, that's wrong. But there comes a day when our finger got something to say. People get ready. I'm ready. But the greenhouse is open. Don't need no passage. Just walk right in. So tell me, are you ready now? People get ready. But the greenhouse is open. Everyone is welcome.
Again, 4407377. I'm just checking on something here before I go forward.
Fool the people with propaganda, lies and ramble. No election.
You know, we have to double check our information and make sure you know. So now you know we have an ambassador to CARICOM, right? Yes, it's a position that has existed before. We usually do have an ambassador to CARICOM, but we were not told that we now have an ambassador to CARICOM. So again, talking points had to announce to you that just in the same way we had to announce that we had a CEO in Spice Mass and that the old CEO was going, and we had to announce to you that the Labor Commissioner was gone. Yeah, it's talking points that announce them thing to all you, ain't it? Yeah, and all them thing that take place with the police force, all kind of thing. We had to let you all know. All right? And I ain't from the police force recently, and I know certain people was pushing for the police and them to accept the 13% that's being offered by the NDC administration. Yeah, and also the public workers are being pushed to accept that. So I know what's taking place there. We have a call online. Good night.
Yeah, I just today. And it seems to me, apart from what you said about Mr. Moses, is a set of old people that they are. I thought old people they expire.
Well, my dear, you've made a valuable, and let me pull it back up so people go and see what you're talking about in case they're not watching.
I only see 3 or 4 people there that look like young in their 40s or so. Everybody else look like my age or like me.
And remember, they said now that this is a group of people they're trying to make a career for some people out of this. Now, in the case of Mr. Ian Marshall, I'm not seeing Miss Trisha Bethel there, but Ian Marshall, Trisha Bethel, and I think there's one other guy whose name is slipping me right now. They are, I would consider them to be young. But all the others are, I mean, come on, Mr. Aaron Moses and them fellas and them should be collecting pension, Glenn Noel, pension. You understand?
Yeah.
No, I have, and hear me well, I have no problem against taking people who are elder and giving positions to them. I have no problem, but they are the ones that said that they will be giving young people the opportunity. That's what they said.
Exactly. That's my point too.
Yeah.
And then, because you need the young and you need the old.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you think. Because there are a lot of old people, like Dr. Mitchell, who has a lot left in him.
Of course.
I ain't interested.
Yeah. So I agree with you, caller, and I think that is the one of the main things there, that they've basically, and I see one of my friends there saying it, the gene pool kind of small. Because if you see the board of directors and so, and you see this, you realize that the gene pool real small.
Yes, that's another thing.
Yeah, the gene pool very small.
Anyway, have a good night tonight.
Same to you, my dear. Thank you. 440-7377. Yeah, the gene pool real small. The gene pool is very, very small when it comes to the NDC and these things. All right? It's very, very small when it comes to them and these things. Because I'm telling you, I'm telling you that they did not announce Mr. Aaron Moses. They didn't announce him anywhere. They sent out a press release and he's just there. That would give you the impression that he was announced when they announced all the other diplomats. And I wonder if I have the announcement of the diplomats here. Oh, I've moved it off of the system. Yeah. Other than that, I'd have played the announcement of the diplomats for you. I'll let you hear for yourself, but it's not been announced. Let's go to the phone lines. Hello, good night.
Sheldon, good night.
Oh, thank you very much for calling. Yes, love.
Good night.
Good night, good night.
We are way down to St. George's now. We come out in we come out in you? In Parkleaf.
Which
was a nice session, boy.
Lime your lineman and you have me worried? Lime your lineman and you have me worried?
Way down. All right.
Okay, my dear. Can we reach all the way in Paraclete? And can we have me there worried? And she coming down with the bus and she call, Lord God, come here though. Easy lady. Oh my goodness. Yes, well at least we know she's okay. Alright? Yeah, because I find her go and they was closed. And then I don't think I heard her on any program this morning. And usually I would get a little message from her during the day. And so Cammie's that type of person. She always checks on you, even if you mightn't be checking on her, she always checks on you. So as long as I remember, I tried to message her, or when she messaged, I tried to respond, and so, you know.
You gave nothing but disrespect and neglect to representation, you forget.
And you know, I was listening to the Member of Parliament for South St. George, the Prime Minister, and the Member of Parliament for St. George Northeast, when they were speaking about the Sea Moon project and trying to give the impression, A, that the project was a bad project or incomplete project, or NNP didn't know what they're doing. All it was doing is putting up a shell on a stage and this kind of thing. No, that project, there's phase 1 and there's phase 2, and I believe there's another phase outside of that. What was being done is phase 1, right? What was started is phase 1. The bossing, they come in and they've been able to stop it and that kind of thing. And oh, if it's that all they was going and give people and all this sort of thing. And they know the MP for St. George Northeast knows what he's talking is nonsense. The Prime Minister maybe don't even know he's talking nonsense because he hear it from the MP for St. George Northeast and the MP from the South and don't even realize for themselves that they're talking nonsense. If you have phase 1 of a project, phase 1 of a project could be that you're putting up the initial structure so that you can have events there. So you put up like an amphitheater that you can have functions there. Phase 2 would be that you're putting out other facilities in the main facility. And you may have a phase 3 where you add another component to it. All right? I'm not all fully familiar with that particular project. And you know who I'm going to have to call to find out about it? The lady herself. Yeah, Honorable Kate Skeeter Lewis. I'm going to make sure that I contact her and either we get her to come on or whatever so that we could discuss that project. But to try to, and the thing is, remember, they were supposed to be discussing tax administration. All of a sudden, they leave tax administration and they reach quite over on Sea Moon project because she mentioned the Sea Moon project. And then they're trying to use that opportunity now to give the impression that some kind of wrong thing take place. They didn't. All you must not know that consultations took place. They're saying no consultation with the people in the community take place. What? They must not know because you know why? They were never interested in anything that was taking place in Grenada before. They're still really interested in it, but they had to give the impression that they are. But they were never interested in anything that was taking place in Grenada before. They must ask the people in Baghdad and Sea Moon, etc., and they would find out. But no, they ain't going and talk to them kind of people. They're going up in them area and suck cocoa and play marble pitch. That's what they just go up there and do. They ain't going and talk to people so they wouldn't know that consultations did take place. Yeah, they would never know that. But then they come in the parliament and to make false statements like that, that's a serious matter, you know. That's a serious, serious matter. You can't come in the parliament and be making these false statements like that. And then somebody has just been asking me about, somebody's been asking me about the traffic lights. Yeah, I could probably find the announcement by Senator Nolan Cox of the traffic light project, what the full intent of what is to be done. Because remember, what you're really looking to do is a traffic light system that takes you from the airport right up to town. What is being done now, because again, they'll come and say, they're saying how much million for that project, and look, all they want to do is put traffic lights there. No, it is part of a broader project that is supposed to be from the airport coming right up to town, and then the other locations as you see fit. That is why you had, prior to the elections, and even for a couple weeks after the elections, you had some people that were out there taking note of the traffic flow at different hours in different locations. So you know that this might be a site that you have to put a new traffic light on, right? So that you, first of all, the pre-existing sites where they had traffic lights before, those of you that are passing, they would realize that it's gotten to the stage now where they've actually put up the poles. The traffic lights have not been affixed. Maybe when I'm passing tonight, I may see the traffic lights on, but the traffic lights have to be affixed, but the poles, the pole itself for the traffic light is going to be hanging on. That was put up over the past week or so. They've been putting those up. So I saw those at by the Reno. I saw the ones there being put up. I saw the ones down at Belmont were put up. And I believe, if I remember correctly, the ones down by Radisson have also been put up. Yeah? to control the flow of traffic and so we will be seeing the traffic lights set up. Again, nothing to do with the NDC. All right? Nothing to do with the NDC. It's a project that the NNP had in place and so on. It's not that they come in and decide we need traffic lights, let you rush and do it. No. It was a project that was funded. Everything was, they contracted companies, everything was there just to go with it. Right? But there is a broader project outside of what you're seeing right now. Those 3 locations I've mentioned. Outside of that, there is a larger project that was being spoken of. Right? To get people from the airport coming up and so new locations that you should be seeing in the future, new locations for traffic lights. For instance, one place I would say I think we need traffic lights. You see that Top Road Calavini? Yeah, Top Road Calavini there and down at Woodlands Junction. I would think that those areas there, you need to have some sort of traffic control. Around by where the medical station, that wrong, the little crossing there where the medical station is, that junction there, I believe that's an area that really needs a traffic light. Yeah? And there are other areas that people can identify and say, well, this is an area, that is an area, so on. And everything will be tied into a central system. Now, I could say all that. Ask them if they know all of that and if they could tell you that. Already talking about them that doing traffic light. They had to do it, the government. So it had to be done. But it's not their initiative. Can anyone actually tell me an initiative that this NDC administration has done? I'm still trying to find out one thing. Just one thing that's an initiative of the NDC administration. Just one thing, yeah?
They say when you don't have good food,
outside of the Who Are Sending Home program and the national susu that was illegal.
Make sure.
I mean, when it comes to finances and you find they're making these illegal moves, they are really kind of, yeah. Because that national susu are asking again, we are hearing nothing about the national susu. I thought they would go in parliament, do a ministerial statement and talk about the national susu. I wonder if they've gotten additional money into the national susu. Is there an account? Has the accountant general created an account, a specific, at a bank? This is the number of different banks and these are the numbers that people who want to contribute to the national susu could contribute to. We hear about it in one function. People take out money and they give and all kind of thing. You have people announcing how much thousand was collected. And after that, we hear nothing again. So I want to know if the national susu is still going on or if the national susu bus. Because to me, it looked like the national susu bus. We ain't nothing. All they didn't know about the public finance management. All they know about it now when all they need to get money to finance the fortnightly payment. All they know about it now. All they didn't know about it when Ole was pulling money for the national susu. Ole didn't know about that, innit? Yeah.
To do that, a lady told me she's dying inside slowly, but she don't mind once it's NDC killing she. She said we had enough under Claudius, so nothing wrong if baby Jesus kill us. All those who claim that they love country more than party, the truth and reality is quite visual and so clear to see.
I think I know a project that they're doing right now. It's called the Public Worker Terrorism Program. Yeah, that's what it's called, the Public Worker Terrorism Program. Because they have gotten the public service to a stage that people are afraid to talk. Well, some people afraid to talk. Yeah? So you could be walking in town and usually I meet people. I've spent years in the public service and around the public service. So I meet people. And when I meet them, I don't want to hold long talk with them because I realize that they're spiting people based on. So next thing, I honestly meet a friend of mine and we're talking, somebody from some ministry or so, especially if you're speaking about the Ministry of Youth and Sport. Yeah? So if I meet somebody from there and we're talking, and next thing I come on talking points and I say something, they're going to think it's that person that passed me information. Yeah? So I'm seeing people who work within the public service and I try to hold any conversation. Hey, how you doing? How the children? Everybody okay, right? And I gone. Because I'm trying to protect them because of the spiteful nature of the NDC administration. And you have the sycophants and brown nosers out there openly calling for the heads of NNP people working within the public service. As if NNP people not paying taxes, not living in Grenada, don't have a birth certificate that says Grenada, if their passport probably say in some other country. But even if they're from a Commonwealth country and they're here, you can't tell them that. But they want to fire everybody, fire all of them. I heard a senior executive member of the NDC making that statement. Executive member of the NDC. Yeah? That all NNP had to be sent home. Anybody that they believe is an NNP supporter, just send them home. Yeah? So it don't matter if you have to do a brain surgery. And the best brain surgeon to do that is an NNP. You go send them home too. Or no, you're going to keep them then because you need to ensure that you survive, innit? So politics ain't matter then. Yeah? But then that just send them home. They have no family to mind. They don't have children and so on that they have to take care of and send to school and feed and clothe. Yeah? They didn't have that. There's no human beings too. You see, because these individuals don't see people as human beings. They see people as votes. They see people as stepping stones to where they want to be in life. And they don't mind walking on you and stamping on your head if they have to get to where they want. That comfortable stage of living. Because how could you ever explain that a government would come in, give each minister $24,000 additional on a yearly basis without them having to pay a cent tax on it, and then take away $150 from poor people? How could you explain that? Yeah? You give yourself $24,000. You're not paying any tax, nothing on it. That's $24,000. You could just leave that. That could be in the bank. That could wherever. Right? They could have that there. Meanwhile, the poorest among us that you for yourself said were not receiving enough money and should receive more money, they took $150 from them. And now we're hearing they increased the amount of them after saying that anytime the number of people under a social welfare program increases, it shows that in the country that is happening, that the economy is bad and the economy is heading in the wrong direction. Well, they have identified what the issue is in Grenada right now because the number of people under that social welfare program called the SEED has increased according to their own numbers. And this even after they've said they've taken off a set of dead people and people are in jail and so on, that shouldn't be on the list. But yet still, the numbers increasing. Yeah? So it means that the economic situation of these people is bad, according to what they're saying. That's what they have said before. So I'm just going with what they have said are the reasons for such things happening. 440377.
Increase on your salary, but you cut for people on by 150. I wonder who advising you, old people.
Yeah, we're just letting you know what is going on. We're not going to let parliament sittings pass and you don't know what's going on. And Kami, if you're hearing me, don't call and just say you're coming down, eh? Call and tell us what happened at the meeting. Somebody from the Paraclete meeting call and Kami say, I had a nice meeting up there. Somebody call me and tell me. I was just sorry I could not stream that meeting tonight. And the next time, we're making sure we go in and stream and all kind of thing. Yeah, we go do it thing, yeah.
Is that? A man told me as a strong foot soldier since June 23rd he ain't make $1. When he checked them, hear what they go say. You was wearing a green jersey one Sunday.
See, a friend of mine is telling me in omnibus non propter, which says in spite of and not because of. I was saying I was trying to remember the Latin for it. In omnibus non propter.
The Congress genetics. Mr. PM, you must stick to your promises. A lot of people.
Hey, let me say a special good night to my good friend Chef Mandy over there. You know where Bobby Starmat used to be behind the fire station there? Yeah, Chef Mandy, she out there. Let me see where she at tomorrow. Yeah, oil long tomorrow, girl. Oil down with chicken, saltfish, pork, lamby waters. Yeah, chicken roti, lamby waters, you're saying. Monday. All I watch, give Mandy a check out tomorrow, man. Yeah, that's right by the where Bobby Stars used to be on H.A. Blaze Street, up on top behind the police station there. Yeah. She had oil long tomorrow. She had chicken, saltfish, pork, lamby waters, chicken roti. Kaya, give me a call. What you have, girl? Send something for me and tell me where you have now. I think yeah, man. Let me see here. Yeah, the number, there are 7,373 active people now under the seed program. And before they were how much? Let me see. 7,107. Yeah, so the amount of people increase. We have a call online. Good night.
Hello, Shalom. Good evening, bro.
Hey, how are you doing, man?
Very good, thanks be to God, man.
All right.
I just want to say I just came back from a meeting in Paraclete there, and
Yeah, how we go? Tell us.
I mean, Shalom, don't think I've ever been this energized and hopeful since after the general elections. The turnout could have been about over 200 persons. I mean, the hall was filled. They had to go get chairs as people come on the outside. I was surprised that there are number of people I saw on the outside when I came out. And I mean, if Dr. Mitchell is able to get out at this time, he's lucky because, I mean, up to the time I hung around and was leaving, and if he was being mobbed by people, and I mean, can't get through that crowded too. You know, people just wanting a piece of him to touch him, and I mean, China was one of the experience I've had in a long time. And Minister Oliver Joseph, Mr. Nimrod, Oliver, Mr. Roland Bola, and so they were there. And I mean, they delivered. People asked questions, answers was given. The questions was asked about the sitting MP, and I was very pleased that Oliver Joseph, Minister, he was able to say, she's still sitting thing, and they said, well, she was invited.
She didn't attend?
No, she wasn't. So she wasn't there, and they said, well, that's her choice, and so.
Yeah.
And I get there seemed to have been people there who were recording. I don't know for what purpose, because they and distracting in murmuring, and people are having to tell me, if you don't want to hear, go, and then we understood who or people were saying who they were. I wasn't from the area, but people were saying they were recording and secretly filming and all of that. And at one point,
we have nothing to hide.
And one of Dr. Mitchell was speaking, and one of them shouted, "You line up there!" And I mean, people got a little bit agitated and say, "If you want to hear, go out," and all kind of thing. And then they calmed down and so. But all in all, it was a very good meeting. There was a Rasta man there, made a presentation. I mean, and I don't think anybody could have given a more eloquent. I mean, I don't know what to say, but he talked about Dr. Mitchell's stewardship. He talked about transition. He talked about leadership. But one thing he said that really touched me, and Dr. Mitchell himself acknowledged that it was very emotional for him when he said, "Dr. Mitchell, you never abandoned us. You never left us. You have always, and we cannot abandon you. We would not abandon you. You were always there for us, and no, we would not turn our backs on you." So what's the defect? And I was very moved. He said, all this talk about when you should go, and he said, no. There have to be a process, And I mean, it was one of the best experiences. The energy, the enthusiasm, the excitement. I guess people just coming together after an election, being so, not badly beaten, but having been defeated at the polls, and now having this experience of being. So a lot is being called upon them, and people were there to start the groundwork. And I was very impressed by the turnout, as I said earlier, but also knowing that people are there and people are just anxious. All I think the thing they needed was some direction, some leadership, some motivation. They got that today. And if that is to be translated throughout the country, I think it augurs well going forward. So this is my assessment of what went on tonight. And I mean, people are just in the yard chatting. People there was no hurry to go home. I'm telling you. And I'm saying if Dr. Mitchell is able to get out and he's on his way home, he's a lucky man. All right? So this is my contribution.
All right. Thank you so very, very, very much, my brother.
Yes. God bless you, bro.
All right. Yeah, because I wanted to know what took place at the meeting. Yeah, because I think it was really disgusting, very unfair what was done to Dr. Mitchell. I'm not just saying it. Yeah, I decided I really didn't want to have to deal with it, but I need to say it. My heart ain't going to be good. I can't leave here if I don't say it. Yeah? I think it was very unfair, a wicked and vile thing that was done to him. Who don't like it could go to hell. Yeah? It was a wicked thing. For what I personally know that he has done for certain individuals over the years, the opportunities that he has provided to people that he did not need to. There were other people he could have provided opportunities to. And for that sort of vile, wicked, and nasty attack. Anyway, let me just leave that there before that end up getting different. Yeah, let me just leave that there before that end up getting different. But I just needed to see that.
They say when you don't have good
Because all you know, if I start to talk, we're going until 1 o'clock in the morning.
This is my Kaiso for the Masgra 2023. Make sure you all come out and support me. No politics, just Kaiso. Let's go.
440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside.
Its people are so unique, so fabulous. They take politics real serious. You can't tell a man nothing wrong.
So let me see the questions that were asked of the Honorable Philip Telesford, Minister of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, by the Leader of His Majesty's Opposition, former Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. And let me see those answers. What I'm trying to figure, you get the answers today. Could I get the answers a day or two? Anyway, but anyhow, how many people are currently benefiting from the program? The SEED program is speaking about. To date, there are 7,373 active beneficiaries benefiting from the Conditional Cash Transfer Program that targets the poorest and most vulnerable households in Grenada under the SEED program, Support for Education, Empowerment and Development. So notice what they said. They for themselves are admitting that there are now more poor and vulnerable households in Grenada. Yeah? Because, let me read it, the answer to the question. To date, there are 7,373 active beneficiaries benefiting from the Conditional Cash Transfer Program that targets the poorest and most vulnerable households in Grenada under the SEED program. All right? And last year, as of June last year, there were 7,107 people under the program. So there is a significant increase there in the number of poor and vulnerable since the NDC has come to office, right? They can't say that is not the truth. They answer the question and say so. All right, nice, good. I'm just sorry I can't pull it up on the screen for you. It would take a bit of doing for me to put it up on the screen. So I'll put it up tomorrow. I'll make sure that it's formatted properly so it will go up tomorrow. What is the plan for additional resources for the SEED program? And the response is, the SEED program is adequately budgeted for in the 2023 estimates of revenue and expenditure. We do not anticipate a need for additional resources in 2023. So they say they have enough money for SEED for the year. So they don't have to go and ask for no money and borrow no money. No way, they have enough money for SEED. All right, nice. D, will there be changes to the program? And their response is, the Department of Audit is presently completing an audit of the program. When that audit is completed, based on the findings, recommendations may be made for changes. The World Bank has approved a consultancy to review and upgrade the targeting tool, the proxy means test. Right? So, there may be changes. The World Bank has approved them a program. When they speak of the proxy means test, they mean the criteria that they use to select people for the SEED program, right? So the World Bank has approved a consultancy. I wonder who go get a consultancy, boy. One of their friends go get our money, boy. One of their friends go get a consultancy money through the World Bank, boy. Hey, somebody go in with a pocket fat. Anyway, given the current increase in the cost of living, an increase in the number of people under SEED, and the hardship brought on to the poor and vulnerable, when will the $150, which was removed from all SEED beneficiaries, be reinstated? And then the response was, the policy was for 6 months and was extended for a further 6 months. As of December 31st, 2022, the program ended. Well, that's still wrong to say the program ended because the SEED program is there. If you want to say the measure ended, then there was no need to end the measure because the cost has increased, isn't it? Yeah, gas price gone up, everything gone up still, isn't it? Right, so at this point in time, why would you discontinue giving people the $150 when you could have been giving that $150 to the people to counterbalance the increase in the cost of living? Yeah? But they say that the policy was for 6 months. In other words, they have no intention to bring it back. Yeah? They have no intention to put it back. right? Even though they did say that they're putting it back. Now they're saying, yeah. Let me see if we could find Auntie Gloria, but we might have her somewhere there, Let me see. We must be able to find Auntie Gloria now. Yeah, let me hear Auntie Gloria what she had to say in relation to the seed.
My government has decided to continue the vertical expansion of seed program, which was scheduled to end in December of this year. This therefore means that family will continue to receive the additional $150 per household. Madam President, we will also be completing...
So, all you heard that, that is the same NDC that's answering Parliament now and saying it was only for 6 months. We know this was Senator Gloria Thomas during the budget debate in December. Yeah, the same December that they say the thing done. I don't know, maybe Dr. Mitchell has said the speech right in Granans and the figures in the Ministry of Finance here. So maybe that is what happened with Senator Thomas. Maybe she speech right in St. Andrews, and the actual figures down in Tong.
My government has decided to continue the vertical expansion of seed program, which was scheduled to end in December of this year. This therefore means that family will continue to receive the additional $150 per household.
Yeah, she said it was a decision of her government to continue the $150. Now it seems as though her government, the same government, is giving no consideration to the return of that $150. We're going to play it again. Yeah.
My government has decided to continue the vertical expansion of seed program, which was scheduled to end in December of this year. This therefore means that family will continue to receive the additional $150 per household.
Yeah, so all you hear, right, nice. That is them day. Right, 4407377. That's 4. I'm real sorry that the WhatsApp. You see, Joyce, I know all you wondering what's going on because the WhatsApp, I interact with a lot of people during the program using the WhatsApp. Yeah, and even last night I had some new people that came on the WhatsApp, and so I know my WhatsApp down. Oh God, all you feel sorry for me now. Oh God, we have to get WhatsApp up and running, man. We must get our WhatsApp up and running. All right, 4407377. As I said, you'll have to call me directly. Yeah, you. Landon, all you behave now, all you sober. Oh gosh, I saw people later just get some real trouble under this live,
They say when
Again, 4407377.
front. So this is my Kaiso for the Masgra 2023. Make sure.
No, but I'm telling you all, I am upset. And the thing with me is I've learned over the years, and I'll come back to that. We have a call online. Good night.
Good night, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm quite fine. How are you doing?
I'm there, man.
All right, you go right ahead. Your call is breaking up really badly. I don't know why.
Say cool to be kind.
Yeah, my friend, I'm barely hearing you for some reason.
Something wrong there.
Oh, no, you're coming across good now. Go ahead.
Yeah, say, old people say cool to be kind.
Yes.
Because dog will be barking to notify you that people coming up in your yard.
Mm-hmm.
And so they call it back a mash dog. And that is an insult to the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Mitchell do so much for people in this country. And today we want to turn me back and run me out and say all kind of thing. But there's a living God. There's a God. And I know that. They could testify. Till they claiming the pasture in Lamode as theirs. NDC, they put the redhead boy as
well, no, let's use proper thing. The MP for the area, Honorable Ron Redhead. Yeah, we calling him by his thing. We ain't gonna just say the redhead boy. We say who it is, Honorable Ron Redhead.
Yeah. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lord put him up as the best thing for the Lamode playing field and all them kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you know better than that, isn't it?
Of course I do. I was there as the parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Sports when we initiated that project for Lamwood. You brought me up there, brother.
Yeah.
You made me come up there, and we went up to check what was going on, what had taken place, and there was the collapse that had taken place down at the edge and so, and we walk up there until I end up with thing all over my pants and my shoes.
It goes.
Mm-hmm. All right, my brother. All right. Yes, indeed. 440-7377. Yeah, and feel free to call back. 440-7377. You know, let me say something here. I don't like people insult my intelligence. If you want to tell me something, tell me something. I don't like people insult my intelligence. You cannot tell me that you are caring and you're concerned so much about me that you ask me for my vote, that I say, yes, I am going to give you my vote. So you are going to go to Parliament to represent me. How much times Parliament does sit a month? Sometimes once, sometimes twice. So all the other days in that month are available to you, innit? They are available to you. And instead of you going Parliament on the day, you say that it was more important because you had a business transaction to do on that day. So it didn't have 4 other working days in that week that you could have decided that you're going to do that transaction, which was not a time-sensitive transaction, that you could have done it on another day in that week, or that there was no other day in that month before or after that transaction could have taken place, that you had to miss a Parliament sitting where the discussion of a bill that was endangering the constitutional rights of Grenadian that we have been proven correct on because they have had to make the amendments, the constitutional rights of Grenadian, that you didn't think it was important to be there. It was more important for you to go and handle a transaction. And I'm supposed to take you serious. I'm supposed to take you serious. Yeah? All you had to do was be there and do what the people hired you to do. That's all. But you decided to absent yourself and then want to go and run your mouth on who went there? Man, joke all you're making with this stupidness. No. I don't go down that road. Seriously. I'm going down that road.
Is that a man told me as a strong foot soldier since June 23rd.
So yeah, I think the sitting was on what, a Tuesday or a Thursday or whatever. So it didn't have 4 other days working, 4 other business days in the week plus the weekend. It didn't have that. That week probably only had 1 day in it. That month probably only had 1 day in it. So everything had to be done on that 1 day. Do not take people intelligence for joke. Don't insult our intelligence with that nonsense. Right? Just say so and so tell you don't go. Right? Just admit that. Nice? Good. Right. 440-7377. I know I see the phone line ringing a while ago.
In front. So this is my Kaiso for the Masgra 2023. Make sure all come out and support me. No politics, just Kaiso. Let's go. There is no place in the world.
I tell myself I'll leave it all up because I don't want to lose. You see, as I was saying earlier, I've learned over the years that sometimes when things happen that upset you, that you don't immediately respond, that you take a few days. You understand? You take a few days. Sometimes you relax. You go on the beach. You take a look, relax. Sometimes, if you want, you take a nice look, drink a wine, and you read a nice book. You look at a nice movie, a movie that you enjoy. You understand? A nice, relaxing movie. You look at a nice movie or something like that, and then you decide that you're addressing the issue, so that you don't address it on emotion only, but actually with facts and common sense. So sometimes things does get me upset. I just decide that, no, you're going to leave it alone. You ain't going down that road yet. But when I think about who that was done to and all that that individual has done for so many people, including them who getting on with that nonsense, it does upset me. It does really upset me. You understand? Yeah.
So nothing wrong if baby Jesus kill us. All those who claim that they love country more than party. The truth and reality is quite visual and so clear to see. Some things are morally wrong.
No, I missed a call a short while ago. Call back 4407377.
Essential. Their backs are against the wall, but you still can't tell them they're wrong at all. $2,000 increase on your salary, but you cut for people on by $150. I wonder who advising you.
All I'm saying is, me ain't going and shake nobody hand and hug up nobody and say I'm working along with people who pressuring and doing all the wickedness that is being done to my people. Yeah? I ain't going down that road. I ain't going and say that I'm working along with this person. You're firing all my friends. My friends, you know. You're firing them. You're placing them into a position of vulnerability and poverty. You're taking them out of employment and you're transforming them from employed, you know, to unemployed. And I'm supposed to be, that's my friends, you're doing that too. That's my people. That's the people that helped me to be where I am. And I supposed to go and skin and grin with you? No, I can't do it. I don't know how some people could. I can't do it. I just can't.
But tribalism and parties and politics messed up the Congress genetics.
One thing, people can say what they want about me. One thing you will never ever be able to call Sheldon Scott is a hypocrite. Nobody. Yeah?
How could you fool big people?
I am that I am that I am that I am. Nice?
Now they're expecting you to deliver, but your conversation becomes so different. If your mind change, come.
As I say, who want to vex, their face is their own.
Jesus, you promise happiness and better days, but we sing the opposite in many ways. Man, don't go down in record as the worst PM. The poor and needy, please don't neglect them. A burning.
We have roughly 13 minutes remaining on tonight's program.
Quietly suffering because you are labeled as a greed. You could not come to your blessings.
So as I told you all, if we're not keeping an eye on what's going on in our country, and we were focusing on these people who trying to be distractions, because they are using themselves and being used as distractions of what is going on in our country. Now, had we spent yesterday focusing on them, had we spent today focusing on them, then would you all know about what is taking place with the tax amnesty amendment and the different ways that that is being used to try to help fund the budget, that the government basically realized, hey, we go run broke. We need to have serious sources of money coming in. We have not been able to get investors to come in. We have not been able to pull money into our country. We've not started any major transformation in agriculture so that you could say that, oh, we have tens of millions of dollars more coming in agriculture and fisheries in the country. We have not done that. We've not done anything in the education sector along with SGU to increase the volume of students, because many students left and didn't come back after COVID. So they have not done anything along with SGU to say, well, we're going to help them expand and work along with them to get more people in to increase the education sector, which is a significant portion of the GDP of Grenada. No, they can't say they've done that. They have not done that. Even though the Prime Minister was the lawyer for SGU, they have not been able to do that, right? So the only way that they're looking to get money right now outside of sell Grenlec, and we see that they're looking to sell Grenlec because they take Miss Andrea St. Bernard, they put her as a director on Grenlec, then they've also taken her, right? They've taken her now and they have made her basically an ambassador with special responsibility for investment, so she can travel and find investors to buy the same Grenlec, right? Yes, to buy the same Grenlec. Grenadians, if we don't keep our eyes on our business, we might pretty well wake up one week and find out that Grenlec was sold 2 weeks ago. Yeah? We might very well wake up and find out that Grenlec gone. You understand? But I have something to say too. When I reach home last night, I meet an envelope in front of my door. I meet an envelope in front of my door last night. And that envelope had some significant information inside it. Nice brown envelope in front of my door last night. Yeah? Don't worry, all they can't do me no. I just take the envelope and I open it and thing. If all you see what in the envelope. But tomorrow night, I'll put it all on notice. Tomorrow night, I shall be revealing what's in the envelope. Yeah? I shall be revealing after I double check to make sure that nobody ain't trying to set me up. Yeah, because we ain't taking setup. We're smarter than that. Right? So we have to verify, investigate and inquire. Or as I say, investiquire. Yeah? We have to do that. And then we'll be talking. Good night, my dear.
Yes. Not only selling Grenlec, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They might sell weed to sell Grenada. They might sell Grenada and they might sell weed too. That is the next step. Okay, thank you.
All right, my dear. I don't even know. Any of you realize that when they're speaking about the sale of the legalization of marijuana now, they keep adding the caveat to that. Legalization for medicinal purposes. That they're not interested in just smoking for smoking's sake, but legalizing marijuana for medicinal purposes. So that, no, they wasn't saying that all the time to them youths on the block and different thing in his job. We go legalize it. NNP want to decriminalize, we go legalize it. No, remember, NNP laid a bill before the House, before the election. They brought a bill to Parliament in relation to that. They had the first reading and they left it there. All right? This government that said they're going to decriminalize, they set up a board, I think a committee. And on that committee, are two brothers. I know if the two brothers are smokers. I don't know. I don't know. You are two brothers. You are all kind of weird people and thing on this committee. And they set up secretariat. I don't know if they're paying for a secretariat. I don't know if they're paying the people on it and whatever. I don't know. Right? Might be questions we might have to ask. But they set up the secretariat and thing, and all of a sudden the marijuana thing turned from full legalization to legalization for medicinal purposes. In other words, if you have glaucoma or cancer or some other thing, and you need, you get a prescription and you get marijuana for that and so on. I just wanted to make sure that people know that is what's taking place. But you see, all of these things are taking place and people want you to focus on other things. So they're trying distraction. Last night I told you all that there are some people that in warfare, you want to take over Grand Dance. But you don't want the troops and them that defending Grand Dance to know it's Grand Dance that you're coming for. So instead of going Grand Dance, you go in Belmont and you attack Belmont. All the troops leave Grand Dance and they come up. And then the major set of your troops go and take over Grand Dance. And it's the same way that if we ain't paying attention, Grenlec will be sold. And we'll find out after the fact. Yeah, your shares. This is not Deacon Mitchell shares. This is not Andy Williams or Ron Redhead or Karine James or Lennox Andrews or them shares. This is not their shares. These shares belong to you and me. And if they think they go in and touch it and sell it just so, without coming to us first and asking permission, they have another thing coming. Yeah? If they think they're just going to take the shares in Grenlec that this government has said they're going to sell within 6 to 12 months. We are on month number 10. They've just placed a person who is sitting on the board of directors of Grenlec as an ambassador with investment responsibilities. The Prime Minister has removed himself as the Minister of Finance and now placed himself as the Minister in charge of public utilities, inclusive of the same Grenlec. We have to be explaining these things, and we want people to understand and know what is going on. Just remember, the shares in Grenlec is not theirs, it's yours. It's mine. So if they think, remember, in the budget document, 6.2 or 6.2, yeah? In the budget speech itself, where they said part of the way that they're going to fund the 2023 budget, right, is by disposal of assets, selling things. Now, where else they have shares outside of Grenlec? Where else they have shares? Where else they have things that they could sell and thing? According to the caller just now, they might want to sell you and me too. Yeah? During a human body, you could get about a 70,000 US for a human body. Yeah? By the time you sell the kidneys, the eyes, your parts off and thing, you could get about a 70,000 US, yeah, for a human body. Yeah, I've actually seen that before. Yeah, you could get 70,000. Right? So they might sell you and me. But at the end of the day, these people have said they're going to tell us things on a need-to-know basis. Maybe they don't think that we need to know that they are making moves to sell Grenlec. Have they come out and said that what we've been saying here is untrue? You know, one thing they've never been able to do is to prove anything that we have been saying either in Parliament or outside of Parliament. So a parliamentary team, what they've been saying there, they have never been able to say and prove that what the parliamentary team is saying is untrue. They are the ones that come out and talk about all kind of nonsense. Like, for instance, they're saying about who came and this one had what the person who said they paid to be an ambassador, all kind of thing, and that cabinet conclusion. We're still waiting. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night, good night.
How's everything?
I'm quite fine.
Okay, so I just want to ask you, and if you remember. You remember me, soul rest in peace. You remember Mr. Winty Frederick?
Yes, Winty and the Bridgeman. I remember Uncle Winty, yeah. I used to talk to him every time I passed through Grenville. Me and him used to chat.
Yeah. This half month, what the government talking about paying for it. You know, they know the idea? That was Winty idea?
Well, I know Winty had that idea. I know that also, God rest his soul, Justin McBurney with GOD. In one of his manifestos, he also had the bi-monthly salary. The New National Party did look at that in the past, and due to several reasons at that point in time, and after, decided not to go that direction.
So because even like I can't remember Justin McBurney, but I remember Winty, because even Winty was even talking about that same time about you build a bridge from Grenada to Carriacou.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did. Yeah.
So I don't basically what I'm trying to say. This half month, a lot of people might feel this is NDCO, the Honorable Dickon Mitchell idea, but then not the idea. That is Winty I to talk about that and talk about money will circulate if you pay by half month. So then so this idea is not even the idea.
Well, let me say this as well, huh? I've seen the NDCites over the last weekend making a victory lap that they've paid the bi-monthly, they've paid it. It is not an achievement to make the first payment.
No.
It will be an achievement if they can continue to make the payment on time every 2 weeks for the rest of their time in government. That is when it will be an achievement. It will also be an achievement if by doing that people see improvements in their lives and their economic situation. If people can't say they're seeing either one, then it's not an achievement. It's a campaign promise that they make, and they decide that they're going to do whatever is necessary, including the 2 bills that passed in Parliament today, to ensure that that happens.
Sorry to say that too, Sheldon. This NDC is one of the worst NDC I passed through, passing through Grenada. Anyway, I wish you all the best and good night because I realize time.
Yes, time is up on us. Yes, thank you so very much, my brother.
Okay, comrade.
And feel free to call tomorrow night.
I will.
Right, great, thanks.
Right.
Yeah, all you, I find a wrong envelope. Oui, papa. Boy, people could put things in envelope, we. All I tell we. Let me see if I can reach home here. All you, hey, watch. Everybody have a good night. Let me get a nice tune for you, man. I must find a nice tune for you tonight before I go, man. I must find a nice one for you before I go. Folks, it's been wonderful being here with you, and everything you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you, especially with the wrong envelope tomorrow night, and not about you. All right? Nice. Papa, if I see taking the wrong envelope, yes, boy. I know some ministers' belly go be griping tonight. I am out of here.
I know who I voted for. NNP I voted for. Tell me who you voted for. NNP we voted for. So let's keep moving. The economy growing. Let's keep moving. Construction booming. Let's keep moving. Every man is smiling. Let's keep moving. Salary receiving. Healthcare improving. Keep moving. Pension coming. Keep moving. Better condition. Keep moving. NNP the party for the land. Let's keep moving. Show me your colors. Let's keep moving. Your green colors. We came back in 2013 with a clean sweep. We win 15, and my country progressing. NNPD winning team. 3,000 jobs for Imanis. The way forward we please. Numbers of higher education. The passport yet volume billion. We create small business. We have the facts to prove this. Roaming million a day. NNP all the way. Let's keep moving. The economy growing. Let's keep moving. Construction booming. Let's keep moving. Every man is smiling. Let's keep moving. Salary receiving. Healthcare improving. Keep moving. Pension coming. Keep moving. Better condition. Keep moving. NNP the party for the land. Let's keep moving. Show me your colors. Let's keep moving. Your green colors. X-ray unit in Maryville. Farmers and complaining no more. Hotels building from Liberia. No turning back, we shall prosper. Silverstone and Mount Cinnamon. Development goes on. Transformation of TAP CC. School upgrade on the NNP. Just wing of the hospital. Almost complete and standing tall. Let us all come together and go the best of Grenada. Let's keep moving. The economy growing. Let's keep moving. Construction booming. Let's keep moving. Every man is smiling. Let's keep moving. Salary receiving. Healthcare improving. Keep moving. Pension coming. Keep moving. Better condition. Keep moving. NNP the party for the land. Let's keep moving. Show me your colors. Let's keep moving. Your green colors. The party's strong and we're moving on. 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 Kirani James New Stadium. More investment to